back to the Futureprint Virtual Summit. The next session is the new roadmap for Inkjet. It's going to be delivered by John Mills, who is the CEO of XAAR, the world's leading independent manufacturer of inkjet heads. Over to you, John.
Thanks, Marcus, and thanks everybody for joining today. I want to take you through the new roadmap that we have at XAAR. And that will take you through initially an overview of our bulk technology, and where it originated and what we're going to do differently, and then how we're going to communicate that to everybody, and hopefully that journey starts today. So in terms of an introduction, what I wanted to do is just kind of talk through why I joined XAAR. I've known XAAR for 25 years on the Science Park in Cambridge, and I've always really liked the technology. I've really been a fan of the shared wall technology and the benefits that gives to end users. But I've also been aware of the challenges that the shared wall technology and XAAR technology presents. And on joining XAAR, I thought to myself, what if we could actually take the XAAR technology and retain all of the really good stuff that people like and want in the technology, and get rid of the negatives and the reasons why people may not use XAAR technology, and that's what we've been working on, and that's what I want to try and share with you today. So I'm hugely excited about the opportunity at XAAR, and I look forward to working with many new partners as we move forward. And so when I joined XAAR, there's a huge number of positives. I mean, one of the things that I was so impressed by the passion and commitment of the team of people who was there. I mean, XAAR's been through a really tough time over the last 5-6 years in terms of the decline in revenues and all of the challenges that you've seen, and having a team of people that remain so committed and passionate about the company and the technology is really inspiring. I was also delighted that my impressions of the technology were validated. We really do have a clear value proposition for customers, and one of the great things was that there was huge amount of unexploited technology. I mean, literally in my first few weeks, I was going around and finding people who were showing me things that they'd worked on a number of years ago that had not been exploited, and some of those things we'll talk about today, and I think are hugely exciting and relevant to many of you listening in. But clearly there were many issues to address. I mean, XAAR's reputation had been damaged through the withdrawal of 5601 and other products. And taking thin film away from XAAR, I mean, a lot of people were kind of saying, well, what's left? You know, what does XAAR have if the thin film has gone? And I think there's comments around whether XAAR's technology was actually at the end of its life. And people, I think, typically found XAAR difficult to work with. And comments that came back from talking to customers suggested that, you know, we have not been a great partner over the years. So one of the things we wanted to do, and the reason why, you know, I've been at XAAR for over a year now and have not talked to the press or anybody, is we wanted to talk about things that we've done as well as things that we're going to do, and not just talking about future changes we'll make. So what we've done over the last 12 months is we're really being clear about the business model and how we're going to go to market. And what we want to do is make sure that people understand who we are and what we do, and that we want to have a business model that's built for partnerships. And then we want to share with the people the reasons why XAAR would be the right partner, and the way that bulk technology is moving forward. And we're going to introduce the ImagineX platform, which is a platform of technologies and capabilities which will power the next generation of products, and we'll talk about that in the presentation. And also, I think there's many of you who will probably have a view of XAAR, and there've been many people who wouldn't have even dialed into this presentation because they would have dismissed XAAR as being slightly irrelevant in the world of print heads. We need to go and find those people, and we need to engage them in the conversation, because what we're finding is that those people who come and talk to us are liking what we have to say, and we'd encourage all of you to kind of engage and understand more what we're doing and why we're now different. And so, just to kind of give you a bit of an overview, if you remember XAAR's technology, shed wall, we only print every third nozzle. So people will think, well, that's very slow. Why are you printing 1/3 nozzles? I mean, speed's limited to 35 kilohertz as a result. Couldn't print aqueous inks, in a plastic nozzle plate and various things. So lots of reasons why people will say, well, I'm not sure XAAR's technology is really fit for purpose. But the things that people don't see is around the through flow technology. So the through flow technology, which allows debris, dirt, air bubbles to flow through the head and not get blocked and not block the nozzle. And in competitor technologies where you've got firing chambers where particles can actually cause issues in that type of architecture, the XAAR technology has a real advantage. And because of the architecture, you end up with the ability to do more things. So we have the ability to print high viscosity. So viscosity is up to 100 CP, which is, I think, significantly higher than many other technologies can achieve. And all of those things are benefits of the XAAR technology, but I think many people tuning in may not be able to get past some of the negatives in there, and I just wanted to talk through why we think those would be, we could get rid of those. So what we want to do is introduce a new bulk platform. So if you look at what we just described, the XAAR Gen 1 platform, the first generation of IP, is really underpinned the last 30 years of product development, the products that people have known and loved. And what we're looking at now is looking at the second generation of IP. XAAR's Gen 1 platform has really underpinned 30 years of product development and the products that you're all familiar with. And this first generation of technology, it had many limitations in terms of the ink type, resolution, and speed. And so, but what we want to kind of get across today is that over the last 10 years, XAAR's invested over £70 million in a thin film program. And that thin film program, whilst we had to shut down the activity and stop the 5601 product, it's actually left us with a significant amount of capability and IP that can now be deployed on our new range of bulk products. And over the same period that happened, there was lots of activity in terms of moving the bulk platform forward. But that technology was never commercialized because of the focus on thin film, which is why there's this latent capability in the company on the bulk platform. And we've also acquired some exciting new IP over this period of time. And if you take those three pillars of IP and capability, we now have a new platform, a new generation of IP, which will underpin the next and power the next 30 years of products coming from XAAR. So this is why I want to introduce to you the next generation of XAAR technology, and we're calling it the ImagineX platform. So just to take you through some of the details in the ImagineX platform, we've recently launched the new version 2002, and within that we have we've tuned the actuator so that you now have more uniform print across the print head, and along with duty based compensation. What we find now is that you actually have a far more uniform print. This is a relatively small step forward, but in terms of end user performance, you can see in the bottom right the impact it's had on the uniformity of the printhead. The second thing we talk about is around productivity and speed. High laydown mode is the ability for the printhead to actually significantly put down more ink using a different print mode through the same head. So effectively, instead of just printing down, being able to change the drop size from maybe 5 to 7 picolitres, you're actually changing the volume of ink by over a factor of 5. And so if you want to actually move from a high resolution, high fidelity print mode into putting down large areas of white or varnish, then you can, with the same printhead, change mode and actually put down significantly more fluid. Also, we're increasing frequency. We mentioned earlier that the 35 kilohertz is kind of the maximum of where we have been. We've now got technologies that will take us to 48 kilohertz, which we'll be launching relatively soon. And we have demonstrated and have heads working now at 57 kilohertz. But the biggest, most exciting development is that we believe we found a way to actually get the XAAR print heads to actually print every single drop. So instead of printing in the 3-phase where we're printing every third nozzle, we actually can now print every single nozzle at the same time. And this will give us a 3 times improvement in speed on the printhead, taking speeds to over 150 kilohertz with the bulk technology, and retaining the ability with all of the through flow and the higher viscosities that you know from the XAAR head. And I think this is a really significant potential step forward. The other thing as well is in terms of viscosities, the fact that we can actually print viscosities. We have applications now where we're actually printing over 100 CP fluids for our customers. And so if you look at the sort of the printing of digital images, over 65 CP at 70 degrees C is a sort of standard operating mode, and over 100 CP if we're in high laydown mode. And just the range of fluids that this opens up with those type of materials. And where we're finding traction here is in industrial sectors. So if you have the material that you use in your manufacturing process through an analog process, maybe screen printing, where it's a challenging fluid, it has really challenging end user applications that you need to retain, we have a really wide print window. So what we're finding is lots of companies that want to move from analog printing to digital printing in their manufacturing process are choosing XAAR's technology because of this wide operating window. And then we're looking at the nozzle technology. So a lot of people will be concerned about the fact, particularly in UV applications where you really need to go and clean the nozzle thoroughly, using a plastic nozzle plate, which is really effective in a number of areas. But in some industries, some markets, the nozzle technology has moved on through to stainless steel and silicon nozzle plates, and left XAAR's technology a little behind in those markets. And so what we're looking to do is to actually have a more robust nozzle plate. So we have technologies around glass-based nozzle plates and silicon-based nozzle plates, and we'll be implementing those across the product range. And also the other benefit of this improved nozzle technology is the fact that we have demonstrated significantly longer throw distance. So particularly in our coding and marking sectors, improving the throw distance significantly at 10 millimeters, and this is down to the nozzle geometries and the silicon nozzle profiles that we've been able to develop, and the feedback, customer feedback with this extra throw distance has been fantastic. And also XAAR's heads typically have not been able to print aqueous fluids in the bulk. Aqueous fluids are conductive, and the conductivity creates issues internally with electrodes exposed to the ink. We have now, over the last 9 months, we've actually managed to change the way that we manufacture and drive the print heads, so we can now actually drive the print heads with aqueous fluids. And we've had several heads running for several thousand hours successfully with water-based inks, and we're now looking for partners to as beta partners to fully test those heads before we launch that capability in the market. And then also XAAR's technology, you also think about the kind of limited resolution and temperature, but we now have a new material set where we're actually demonstrated that we can actually double the resolution of the shared walls, so we can actually increase the native resolution from 180 nozzles per inch to 360 nozzles per inch. So if you take the 2002, which is currently a 720 dpi print head, we can now go up to 1440 dpi. And also the material will operate at a much higher temperature, so we can increase the operating temperature of the print head. And I think the combination of the ability to print high viscosity and move into a higher temperature even further opens up the material range that you can use. And so if you look at those range of platforms, I think if you look at the market sectors that XAAR's really been focused on, ceramics and maybe coding and marking, the technologies that we are developing now effectively to have the high viscosity, high laydown across all our range, to progressively increase the speed up to 150 kilohertz, the introduction of aqueous capability, the introduction of a silicon nozzle plate onto the products, and the ability to move up to higher resolutions. These things, I think, in retaining the benefits of through flow, so you don't get the trapping of nozzle of debris or air bubbles in the heads, so you can maintain the reliability. And also retaining the nozzle open time, particularly in the aqueous material heads, where nozzle open time with aqueous fluids can be a challenge. If you take all of those developments, I think we will have a range of products across the range that will be very, very attractive in the different markets. And in terms of how we want to communicate this, one of the things we wanted to do was to try and communicate XAAR has changed. We have a new business model, the way we want to work with people, that we want to make sure that it's built for partnerships. We have a new technical product roadmap, all based around the ImagineX platform. And one of the things we wanted to make sure is that we reconnected with people who maybe have dismissed XAAR. So externally, we wanted to make sure we had a new look, a new fresh look that communicates these changes. And therefore, we've gone through a change in corporate identity to try and signal that. And internally, it's been fantastic to get everybody coming together into behind a common goal. And it's been fantastic the way people have responded to this. And all of this is, and we've created a corporate video, which we'll have translated into the language of our customers, particularly in a world where it's very difficult to actually have face-to-face meetings at the moment. We wanted to use this as a way of communicating how XAAR is now different. And so our vision is a world where you can print anything you can imagine, and that's what we want to try and get across in the following video.
Just imagine if you could print a plane, or the echoing hallways of a palace. Just imagine getting fluids down to a fine art to make your work one of a kind. Just imagine distilling 3 decades of expertise into every and unleashing the true power of Inkjet in your industry. At XAAR, we're working with customers around the world so that together we can push the boundaries of what's possible and deliver the next generation of Inkjet technology with our new ImagineX platform. You asked us for the precision to make big ideas beautiful, down to the smallest detail. So we're taking resolution up to 1440 dpi. You asked us for the flexibility to make anything you dream a possibility. So we're giving you applications that work with every fluid, including aqueous. And you asked us to help you react at lightning speed to match the pace of modern life. So we're supercharging our frequency to 150,000 drops per second. With a revolutionary new range of products that will help us transform entire industries in 2 dimensions or 3. Together, we can unleash the power of Inkjet and create a world where if you can imagine it, you can print it. Welcome to your new XAAR.
And so what we really want to do is we want to help companies and industries be more colourful, creative and productive through our world-class printheads and technology. That's our mission, and that's what we hope to do. And I hope that we can engage with many of you and help you deliver your printhead requirements. And so just in summary, I want to also mention, just in terms of the financial status, it was interesting when I first joined that, I had many companies phoning me up and asking whether XAAR was still going to be around, and I just wanted to kind of give people assurance that we're in extremely good shape. We've got a very, very strong balance sheet. We're now back cash generative, and seem to look at the results, and I'm extremely positive about the future. We've won a significant number of new accounts over the last 9 months, and that revenue security and future revenue growth looks is very, very, very exciting. And all that's been helped by kind of a change in commercial strategy. We've simplified the way we go to market. We're not going to sell through any competing channel. We're focused on supporting our customers, our OEMs, and we really have created a clear value proposition around with the bulk products of why you buy XAAR. You buy XAAR because if you've got a difficult fluid, you can buy XAAR. You've got more chance of it printing with XAAR because of its wide operating window, and trying to communicate all that through the ImagineX platform, which is really a way of communicating the fact that there's been this latent capability that's been generated over the last 10 years, and despite the us cancelling and stopping the thin film program, that's left us in a really strong position in terms of deploying that capability on our new bulk platform. And the people that we have and the facilities we have a fantastic facility in Huntington, manufacturing facility. It's world class, and the people that we have, the commitment and passion that we have around it, and we really want to kind of engage with people, and all of that tied together with a new corporate identity. And I just hope through today's presentation you can see that we are moving in a different direction. We have fresh new technology which I think will add value to pretty much all of the print markets across the world, and we'd love to work with you. And if there's anything in this presentation that's been of interest, then please feel free to contact myself or any other member of the team. Great, thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks, John.
To Q&A.
Thanks, John. Thanks. That's excellent. Really positive, upbeat, optimistic. All of the things we need to hear right now, I think. And having on a personal level known XAAR for many, many years, it's great to see this kind of moving forward with a fresh kind of approach, which is fantastic. The ImagineX IP platform does look great, as does the new logo and messaging, and it makes sense to do a rebrand at this time. Can I just ask you a question? What has been changed or harnessed within the XAAR culture? Often that's the defining factor when a new leader comes on board that will enable you to deliver this to your customers. So yeah, it's a bit about the changing culture.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that you start off with is you go and talk to customers, and I spent the first few months talking to customers and really try to understand how they perceive XAAR, because the reality is it doesn't matter how much you think you behave in a certain way. The reality is how you're perceived, and the perception was that we weren't easy to work with, and not very supportive, and actually caused confusion in the way that we did business. So I think that and internally there was lots of people internally who were kind of frustrated by that, because if you look across the business and you talk to individuals, none of them would have deliberately set out to do anything other than to support customers. And so it's really connecting that internal behavior and desire to deliver to the customers with the kind of external perception. And I think there was a few things that we changed. So I think clarity of messaging is really important, so that everybody in the company understands and knows what's important. And also the thing is that we're only successful if our customers are successful. And so I think occasionally we may have actually put the interests of XAAR ahead of the interests of the customers, and sometimes that happens. And I think that making sure that everybody in the company understands that we're only successful if our customers are successful, and sometimes we need to take a bit of a hit if we in order to help our customers to do that, and that's okay, because we'll win out in the end. And I think that sort of focus on helping people deliver, and we've seen that. We've won a substantial number of new accounts, over 30 new accounts that we have. So there's over 30 new companies who are actually building a new machine with XAAR's technology, and that's happened over the last 9 months. So we clearly do have a value proposition. We clearly do have a value to the customers, and I think that actually the confidence that has given people internally, I think then projects outwards, because I think when you come and talk to XAAR, if we felt we did beaten up, and then the confidence would not be there in using the product. But I think now people internally are seeing we do have this, and we are winning business, and we do have a value proposition. That confidence comes out, and willingness to help, and I think people are seeing that, and that's really, really helping.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's good to hear. It's so obviously right now it feels like an exciting time to be part of XAAR with this kind of new vision. It sounds like you've got quite a clear galvanizing purpose within the business, like you said, and the confidence ensues. A change in the way you interface with partners and customers is great. What can we expect to see from XAAR as a business in 5, say 10 or even 15 years?
Well, so for me, I've joined XAAR with a long-term view. I'm sort of I'm 51. I've got a few years ahead of me, Marcus, and I see myself being around XAAR for the until the board or shareholders decide they don't want me there anymore. And so I've got long-term vision. I think we want to grow a strong, stable company, and XAAR's had a kind of huge rise to success through the ceramics, which was probably unsustainable. It was a sort of aberration in the market, and unfortunately, I think part of the negative view around XAAR was that it kind of went up and then came back down. I think if that never had happened, it would have probably carried on an upward trajectory. So I think broader base of opportunities. We want to get into a wider section of markets. That's why we're having Aqueous. So a broader range of markets, a broader range of products, but also not just printheads. So when customers are coming to us now, they're kind of asking, have you got electronics and software? Have you got print engine? There are more things that people are asking us for to help them get to market. So XAAR will also look at how it vertically integrates to offer more to our customers, and we'll do that through a range of partnerships and organic growth and potentially acquisitions in the future. So really, so that we can offer a single-stop shop. So if you're a company who's an expert in your field and you believe that digital print will add value to your existing production capability, but you're not an expert in inkjet, then who do you go to? And the show that you founded, Marcus, the Imprint Show, I think was the exact type of vehicle of for companies to come along and look for capability to deliver that. And where's XAAR, I think where I want XAAR to get to is that companies who want to do that can come to XAAR, and we can offer them the printhead and a more vertically integrated solution to help them get to market.
Brilliant. So thanks so much, Sean, for joining us, and for XAAR for being part of this summit and being a content partner. We're delighted that we're one of the first places to have heard the positive new story around XAAR going forward. So well done on that. Thank you for being part of it, and I hope you join some of the networking and obviously get a lot from your experience with the summit. So thank you very much.
Great, and thanks for you for organising, Marcus. It's great to be doing something like this in such a challenging time.
Definitely. Thank you.